This morning, while fiercely lip-singing Uprising by Muse in the shower, I realized the lyrics are technically a theme song of what needs to happen in our future. The rich keep getting richer, the middle class is disappearing, and the poor are getting poorer. But what we need is an uprising against greed, to get the power back. The song starts out with,
Paranoia is in bloom. Transmissions will resume. Now try to keep us all down and hope that we will never see the truth around. Another promise, another scene, another package like to keep us trapped in greed. All the green belts wrapped around our minds, and endless red tape to keep the truth confined.
Now I'll point out the correlations with these lyrics and what's happening. Paranoia is in bloom. You know. The news is always broadcasting things like war, terrorism, don't trust anyone, etc. The easily swayed citizens are scared of everything except the people stealing the money from right under their noses. They'll try to push the drugs and keep us all dumbed down, so we never see the truth around. So multimedia either makes drugs look good or makes them look bad, which in turn makes them look desirable to the recent and current generations. Now, I myself am not saying that drugs are bad, but they might be so desirable and pushed to keep us distracting from what's going on. The last two lines in the stanza relate to how many lies we are told, to keep us trapped in greed, of course, with the promise of rewards to us, and how the majority of the country blindly follows whatever they're told like a flock of sheep. The second verse,
mind control, come let the revolution take its toll. If you could flick a switch and open your third eye, you'd see that we should never be afraid to die. Rise up and take the power back. It's time the fat cat's had a heart attack. You know that their time's coming to an end. We have to unify and watch our flag ascend.
this basically says what must take place. We are 99% versus 1%. Our country is being taken over by greed. It's time to take the power back. To conclude with the main chorus, chorus is showing that the poor and middle class can't be suppressed and degraded forever. We can fight back. Look up who you vote for. Don't trust everything on the news. Don't trust your parents, or if you go to one, your church's political views. Think for yourself. Do not be obscured by others' views. See what's happening behind the curtain of propaganda.
So, listening to your new album, the single Uprising, they will not force us, they will not control us. Who is they?
Who is they, yeah. I suppose, let me think. When I was making the album, I was reading a couple of books. I read a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which is quite interesting, which talks about how these very large corporations basically exploiting the world, exploiting people, exploiting nature. So I suppose you could say they is kind of orientated towards what in that book he refers to as the corporatocracy. The idea that there is like a corporate power which is above our governments, and which have a lot of influence over our governments, And sometimes I think I watching the situation in England as well with the MP scandal and the banking crisis and all of these things, It's very easy to understand, I think, why young people especially, or I'm not that young anymore, but younger people have no real trust for politicians and for very powerful, wealthy people, because they feel that they are doing something very against nature, you know. And so I think they is kind of like a general reference to these people.
And how does it work, this kind of control? If they attempt to control us, how is this working? It's just by finance?
It works. I mean, it works in many subtle ways. One of the main ways it works is that in our I don't know too much about the German political situation, but in England the political system is where you vote for a representative, like in a constituent area, and this person represents you in Parliament, and you really hope this person votes for policies that you agree with, you know. But what often happens is these people are very influenced by lobbyists, you know, these people that work for large corporations. For example, the situation in Scotland at the moment, in England, with this prisoner which was sent back to Libya, and people are researching, and they are finding out that in fact there was like a deal that was done. This is always the case, you know. There's many deals which are done, which are really the political classes, they regard the general public like a kind of like a cattle, you know, like just like a lot of animals or something, which don't really have much ability to think, and I think this is frustrating, you know. So it happens in this way, really. I think it happens just because when people become powerful, they often have a disregard for public opinion.